Hey, this is Sean with the Atlanta Tennis Podcast, powered by Go Tennis. Check out our calendar of Metro Atlanta tennis events at letsgotennis.com and be sure to register for our upcoming Go Tennis Fall Festival on November 9th at James Creek Tennis Center. It is going to be awesome. Today, this is the official view with Hall of Fame coach and tournament official Dave Matthews. Today, we are discussing the non-woke parent. And now, we do not mean woke in the way it's used in politics, but more of a lack of engagement and lack of understanding of reality of what's going on in their child's tennis world. Dave, where do you want to start? Do you want to extend the definition of what you mean by non-woke parent?
Sure. I think, as time has evolved, I think as sports, social media, everything has evolved, I think that it has evolved so fast. And when I say fast, probably literally, 20 years. You're talking with social media just beginning at the turn of the century. That's when the internet got big, cell phones got big, all that. You started having Facebook, and then you started having Instagram and Pinterest and all those coming into the field of play. You had parents that were, back in my generation, and they're, probably up into the 90s or so, you had parents that were, the kids would try to get scholarships and things like that. And there are always partial scholarships, and Title IX created partials with a lot of the men's programs because you only got 4.5 per 6 guys. So ain't everybody getting a full ride. And that's a whole nother topic. But with all that evolving that quickly in the last 24 years, I don't think, and I think there are a lot of parents that did not come up, knowing what was out there back before the turn of the century. And now it has exponentially sped up into literally a racetrack of trying to keep up with what to do, what not to do, what is real and what is a facade. And, like when we were growing up, and probably up until, you probably graduated high school, most people, if I got, let's say college back then was probably, 10, 15,000, wasn't a quarter, probably per year, something like that. I was not, afraid to tell somebody, are you playing tennis over so school? And I say, oh yeah, I'm on part scholarship. And that basically spelled exactly what it was. I was getting some money. I was coming up with the rest of it in the story. And now, and if you're on full ride, yeah, I've got a full ride. I'm on scholarship. And that meant 100%. And there's nothing wrong with that. We were very upfront about that. And now, and I saw this, I've seen this a lot. And then I questioned it because I thought it was only in tennis. And then I found out it's not only in volleyball, it's also in golf and everything else. When they say I'm on scholarship now, you got to follow it with that next question. How much are you getting? And it's not really doesn't really denote your level, okay? It just means what they call a scholarship now ain't what they used to call it. It has changed a lot. Social media has changed it a lot. We got kids that are getting $3,000 and $5,000 a year toward a school that costs $25,000 a year, and they're getting a signing day with a table and all the entourage. And I'm like, I don't know if I would tell anybody I'm getting $5,000 toward $25,000. That's literally my mom and dad are putting me through school still. And that's okay. That is okay. But the emotional ride that parents are trying to get because their kid is going to get to play, and I don't say it's a bad thing. I endorse anybody going to school and playing tennis. Let me tell you, it's harder than you think. You ain't got the time of day to look down at your iWatch and see what time it is. The steps you're going to get in that day are ginormous compared to what you did in high school. So, I want you to go do that because only a small percentage get to do it. But be forewarned when you're out here in these junior tournaments, what you see and what you think you're getting when you're playing that level 5 and then you finally get into the level 4s, let me tell you, you ain't in the middle of the mix yet. When you've got a level 7, which is a beginner tournament now, and a level 1, which is a national championship, and you're playing a level 5, trying to get into a level 4, you got to look at the steps that are long ahead of you. There's a lot of road to travel. And let me tell you, you got to be up that ladder, probably level 2 or 1, to be looking at a full ride of any sort, because you're always playing the world field. You're not playing just U.S., and that's the part I think they miss.
And you talk a lot about the kids here in this. So if you were to give me a 1-sentence definition of the non-woke parent, could you do it?
Oh, sure. Somebody who is thinking that their kid is looking at a full ride tennis scholarship and they're playing a level tournament below probably 2.
So delusional.
Yeah, they're delusional. They're thinking,
delusional.
They are thinking, where are my linesmen and my chair umpire for my kid's court? You're so delusional. I got that when I got to be, I was probably 28, 9 years old and been playing really I was a late bloomer. I bloomed in college, and then I really got better when Guy Fritz taught me my one-handed backhand at 24 years old. And then I was out on the satellite circuit for a couple of years, and that's when it started to bloom for me. I had been playing literally tennis about 10 hard years. I ain't talking 2-3 days a week. I was playing, 5 to 7 days a week, tournaments every weekend if I could find them. It was a competitive environment that I savored. I wanted it. And I see so much overscheduling and things like that, and parents are expecting their kids to be able to do 4 and 5 things on a weekly basis, and you don't understand. It takes 5 to 7 days of one activity to be at the top of that activity.
Now, how much does participation drop if we have parents that are all enlightened and everybody understands whether or not their kid has a shot? And if they do understand that their kid does not have a shot, the parent's no longer supportive and they're out and they go play chess or volleyball. How much of tennis is actually filled in? How many matches are there that exist simply because of this delusional parent thinking their kid's gonna make it?
I think there will be some.
Impossible to answer, of course, but
yeah. I think it could be 10, 15%, 20%. I don't think it's huge because I think tennis is still a great game for camaraderie, for having fun. If you want to play 2 and 3 days a week, then play your leagues and things like that. So it is a sport of a lifetime. It is. And not everybody is going to be a top level. I was not on what you call a TV player. I never got there. A lot of different things didn't fall my way, and that's okay. That works out that way. Am I mad about it? No, not at all. I did tons with what I was offered, and I could write a book about it. I ain't got time to, but I think learning and the process that I went through to get it is different than a lot of people's. Not better or worse, just different. But the sum of the nutshell is I put in time on the court. And that's what people are asleep about. They think 2 or 3 days a week, and I can make my high school team, even playing, 3 doubles or 2 doubles on a high school team. They we're going to play college tennis. No, you're not. No, you're not. They only have you can't even be a ball boy for a college tennis team.
Well, you can, and we can set that up. You can be that, but
you can
technically. We'll make some calls. So what's the advice here? So if I say, what's the moral of this story We now have kind of an idea of the kid that thinks, I love tennis. This is fun. Maybe I'm going to get a scholarship, whether it's full or not. I didn't get a scholarship full for tennis. I
Right.
had to supplement with academic and music.
Sure.
I never walked around saying I'm on scholarship. Like, I don't really care. There was no excitement for me that said I need to brag about it. But now
Right.
you're right, with social media and with the way the parent needs to say, my child got these things and I'm so proud and we're so proud. You have to display those things online for some reason. I don't get it. That's just me. It's not my thing. I don't care if you know what my 2-year-old has accomplished in the
That's right.
last month. It doesn't matter. But in this case, what's the advice to the parent? Let's stick with the parent because the kid's probably not listening right now.
Sure.
Parent to say, hey, where do you find this enlightenment? How do you know more? Can you go to your coach? Can you talk to who do you talk to? What do you do?
Well, I think a lot of it is the environment you're surrounded by, your coach, your things like that. You and a lot of other the guys that I pertain to a lot. You guys heard me often talk about shut your mouth, tuck your shirt in, be respectful, be a sportsman, and let your racket do your talking. Your racket talks 10 times louder than you ever will. And in today's world, I was sitting there watching some of the college and pro football games, and it's now they put more time into the celebration in the end zone or even after an interception. And I'm like, do you know that's just part of your job? That's part of your commitment to the team is doing that specialty really well. Your team should be enough for you to motivate you to get you to do it, play in and play out. And I just think that, your ego will get you in more trouble than it will ever get you out of. And that's in any sport. Am I old school? Yeah, you could probably say that. But do I really like to watch the people that just do that job, point in, point out, play in, play out? I love the detailed mental side, watching too. It's kind of funny watching the Alabama-Georgia game, and it went down, and they're picking on that left cornerback all the way down the field on that last drive. And I was sitting there going, I'll bet you number 2 is waiting and baiting that hook for when they throw it over there one more time and he's going to pick it off. Especially when the field got limited toward the end of the game, you only got 20 yards, so you can't run past them. You're going to run out of the end zone. He knows he's going to stop about goal line and play the ball. And sure enough, he did. And that, to me, is a smart defensive back. You're not going to win that battle every time against a fast receiver. You're going to get blown. Just don't get blown by because that's a free touchdown. When you can limit the field, you let that defensive back get a lot better. And that, to me, is what I love to watch. Did the kid have a celebration? He deserved one. I don't think he went bonkers over it. I think he said, I did my job. I stopped the drive. I played 60 minutes and got one massive play in, and it changed the game. Not really, but yes, it did. And we understand it all in the scheme of things. But I love watching those kinds of battles occur because they're set up. They're not just luck. That defensive back knows what's coming. He limit to my field and I can play. Give me 70 yards. Oh my God. The speed of some of those wide receivers on both teams, it's amazing to watch. But that's part of the percentages of sport is that stuff. And it's no different in tennis, So
Yeah, and if we bring back and we say, okay, these are the battles we want to see. These are the things we want our kids to go through. How do I get kind of one last piece of advice? How do I get the parent to really understand, not even just big picture, but a little bit more? Can we move the needle for the parent right now and say, hey, you know what? Why don't you look at where your kid is? Check their UTR, check the benchmarks, have a look, go talk to your coach, find out where we are and how many days a week you need to work. And some parents come in and say, hey, my kid's 14 and he's a 3 UTR. Can we get him into college? The short answer is no. Let's do something else. But where those numbers are, we have those numbers now. We have the way to be able to advise parents as coaches and advisors and say, okay, great. This is going to take you 4 days a week, or this is going to take you a lot more than that, or maybe not even that much. You just want to play high school. That's okay too. How do is it go to your coach? Is it go find somebody you trust to give you a little bit of that big picture?
Yeah, I think most of it is, if your coach is experienced enough with enough, advanced level players, they'll know exactly. I mean, in all honesty, if you think your kid's going to play, let's say full ride tennis scholarship type stuff, there's nothing less than 5 days a week available. And you better be really talented. You better be coordinated and starting at a young enough age. Young enough age has got to be, I'd say, at least 9 or 10, at least. And talented and be putting 5 days a week in, whether that's drills or with a private lesson occasionally and then a tournament along the way. That's minimal. That's minimal for I don't want to say Division I. I'd say Division probably 2 or 3. I mean, it's tough. There's a lot more kids on the landscape. So that's the benchmark for me is, if a kid really wants it, they got to start early and they got to start often, because that building process every day is what is the critical learning thing. It's not about, we have kids all the time. Oh, my kids play for 2 years. How many times a week? Oh, twice a week for 2 years. And then they took the summer off. And I'm like, okay, you just lost, 6 months of work right there.
Yep.
They think you walk back out and you pick right back up where you left off. And as Bagger Vance says, it just don't work that way.
Don't work that way.
It don't work that way. So, yeah, I would say get with your coaches. And, if you're looking for, social, I hate to say high school tennis, but, yeah, I have to say it. High school tennis.
That's fine.
Then, 3 to 5 days a week will get you a lot of that and a lot of fun with it. And that'll be great. And it's a great game to play for the rest of your life. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. So the advice is to the parent, wake up a little bit.
Yeah.
Consider your own delusions. We love that you want your kid to be great at something.
Yep.
There are plenty of parents out there that have their kids playing tennis for the resume, and that's it. They're not going to play in high school. They're not going to play in college. They're just on the resume. I played some tennis as a kid. That's fine. There are plenty of kids out there that really want to make the high school team and play socially and know how to keep score and maybe play some doubles on the varsity team if they're lucky.
Right.
But if you really do have those delusions that your child is going to play in college, zoom out a little bit. Go talk to your coach. Go figure out where your child is in that world and really take a look at it from a realistic point of view.
Offer your kid the chance to, maybe not even in drills or lessons, offer them to play 5 to 7 days a week and see how long they will keep doing it.
Uh-huh.
If they do it for 3 months plus, number one, you'll see a ton of improvement, tons of improvement. A few lessons occasionally, some group lessons occasionally, and then about 2 or 3 days a week, go play with Sean over here and Dave over here. Here, go play a set or two and then come back and see how long that lasts. If it stops after about 3 months, you just found out you got a high school player or a novice player, and nothing wrong with that. There's something else that draws their attention. Let them go do that.
Yep. If they keep doing it, you've got your answer there too. Thank you so much, Dave Matthews. This has been the official view with Hall of Fame coach Dave Matthews. And next week we will see you again. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
You betcha. Have a good day.